we mentioned that it might have to be KG, but who were the top guards that you could say was on the echelon? And I know, you know what I'm saying, KD might not be on the echelon of LeBron James, but he's still up there as far as the top players at their, especially at their position. Who was the top players in that position in that stratosphere between 2000 and 2004 for Kobe?
Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady,
Allen
and
Iverson.
there's one more.
Maybe D Wade. Can we say D Wade?
D Wade
No, because
wasn't
D
there
Wade,
yet.
yeah, D Wade didn't come until
We're
'03.
talking about people that are there from '99 to 2004, correct?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so from '99 to
Maybe. Oh, I
'04.
got one. I got one. What about Ray Allen?
No
Hmm,
defense. Actually, you know
I,
what? Maybe.
I don't know though.
I'm gonna do the
Tony
pina
Parker.
colada.
Tony Parker wasn't there yet, was
What's your boy?
he?
He won't there. He won't there early.
No, Tony Parker didn't come until 2002. Pause.
Yeah, because he wasn't on
Thank
the
you.
first championship team that they won with David Robinson.
Brandon Roy.
But yeah, Brandon Roy didn't come into the league until '06. So yeah,
Yeah,
it would only be KG,
I
bro.
think
That's it. KG.
I don't know. I'm throwing Ray Allen into the
Okay,
hat
I'll give you Ray
because he
Allen
was a
because
lot
Ray
more.
Allen is a hooper, and Ray
Yeah,
Allen wasn't hurt all the time.
yeah, he was.
Man,
Yeah,
give me
yeah,
Grant Hill,
yeah. He
gang.
was a lot more. He was a lot
Grant Hill
more
was dead
athletic at
in
the time. You know
'99.
what I mean? Yeah,
Grant
like
Hill
Ray
was
Allen.
already
Ray
dead.
Allen was like at that point in his career. Ray Allen was still
Hooping.
drive to the
Yeah,
basket, dunk on you. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't Boston Ray Allen or like
he was the
where he's just gonna catch
Seattle.
and
Yeah,
shoot.
Seattle Ray Allen was cold.
All right. Well, how about this? This still in the same stratosphere. Still basically the same question. Well, not the same question, but still dealing with the same stuff. Who do y'all think between obviously, we talk about LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan. Who do y'all think of those three had the peers that were closest to them as far as all-time great status and talent-wise level as well?
Um,
I would
Give me
say
chicken.
Kobe.
As far as people dealing with like their position, or you know what I'm saying, their place on the floor or their role on the floor.
Well, you say Kobe. I say Kobe because you had Lamar Odom being in his own. You had Ron Artest being in his own. You had niggas like Derek Fisher balling.
Um,
I don't think
Let
that's
me
the
do the
question. I
greens and
don't
the
think that's the
macaroni.
question. I think the question is like competition wise at their position.
Like
Is that
Jordan
what you were
had,
saying,
yeah, like
Chucks?
Jordan had Glide. You know what I'm saying? And um, damn, I guess Joe Dumars. I mean, ain't he a Hall of Famer? Um,
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Dumars got a Finals MVP,
you know what I'm saying?
Joe
So
and
Dumars does
and
have
and,
a
and,
Finals
and, and Jo-
MVP.
and Jordan said that Joe Dumars is the person that guarded him the
yeah,
best.
bro.
Hey, Joe Dumars
So
is another one that I was talking about, and one of those forgotten folk.
Yep. Yeah, because he's such a bad executive that what I'm saying, people just disregard him as a
But I
player.
mean, in the
Yeah,
LeBron era, we had Melo, Kawhi, KD, goddamn,
But you gotta count all those people for Kobe too,
at his
because he was
okay.
position
there.
though. KD and Kobe, Paul Pierce. Well, I mean, yeah, Paul Pierce played the wing. Melo played the wing, I guess.
Well, that's where the conversation gets kind of convoluted,
Mm.
and it gets back to my point about Jordan is that Kobe wasn't just going up against the Ray Allens and people like that. He was getting guarded by these other dudes that you're talking about too.
Like the Tony Allens
As in LeBron, who doesn't guard the best player on the squad.
But is the best player always guarding LeBron? No.
no, not at all. I would
There's a
like to
lot of
lie and
times if
say
you go
yes,
back and
but
watch those, yeah, if you go back and watch those Spurs Lakers games or whatever, Kobe did a lot of guarding Bruce Bowen. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to
Kobe
save him.
what?
You
You know
know,
what I mean? He would guard Bruce Bowen for a lot of the time. It was just that when the game was on the
Oh,
line,
instead of Ginobili.
yeah. But when the game was on the line, you were like, "Yo, Bean, go lock him down." You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing that you
Correct.
saw with Jordan to some degree. Like, because
But
people
that's
always
why
talk,
you get a Scottie Pippen or a Rick Fox, so you can take it
right,
off of them.
right. And that's
And
and that's
people
what
act like
Jordan
that's a bad thing.
and that's what happened when Jordan won his first title because Magic cooked in game one. And then they were like, all right, Pippen, you guard him.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And granted, Jordan still him more than the Pippen and LeBron historians would have you believe. But Pippen was the primary defender after that.
Right.
Right.
Would you want your best player to guard the other team's best player? Like naturally,
No,
would you want that?
It
no,
depends on who my second
no.
It
best
just
player is.
depends. Yeah, it just depends on what's going on with the game. It
If,
depends on
if
how
if it
bad
was
it's gonna
game
get off.
seven,
Yeah, if
if
it's
it was
game
game
seven, though,
seven,
hey,
hell
I
yeah,
need, I need, I need everything. I need you to just go. It's game seven,
yeah.
big dog. Like we trying to win, so you need to go all
And,
out,
So
and that's and that's
just like Brian.
and that's kind of the problem that we're talking about with the NBA that you can't really fix because we're talking about humans because we'll be like, hey, they don't play defense until the fourth quarter. But if they for real played defense the whole game, they wouldn't have nothing for the fourth quarter.
right.
Right. It wouldn't even happen like that.
But let's get back to the so like I said about the guys who had the closer competition. It's like so strictly two guards. We had T Mac, AI.
You said strictly Dickley?
Hey yo,
What? I didn't.
hey yo,
Oh, my bad. That's my bad.
hey Jack, hey Jack, my
Y'all nigga want to
boy.
go to 7-Eleven later.
You
Like,
know, like I was saying,
Nah, I'm just playing. Go
no,
ahead. Go
you get
ahead.
we got T Mac, Ray Allen, AI, Vince Carter.
could you put Penny in there, or is it too short for Penny?
Don't forget about the people that we don't even
Is it too?
remember, or
That's
the
what I'm saying.
people
Is
that
it
aren't
too short to
important
put
too.
Penny? Like, is his career too short to put him in there?
And again, I guess
I
No,
think
I
guys
don't
so.
think
like
so. But he wasn't
Well,
important
well,
he,
well, I
in
think that by
2000.
that
Penny
time,
Hardaway was no longer a big deal.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. He wasn't the same Penny
Because
at
I was
that
gonna
point.
say the people that we're not mentioning are
Iguodala.
like the Sean Elliott's of the world, the what's the old boy that was on Dallas? Michael Michael
Michael Finley.
Michael Finley. We're not mentioning those
What
kind
about
of
what
guys.
about
You know
We're
what I
not
mean?
Houston?
match. We're
Like
not
there was
mentioning. We're not mentioning Allen Houston.
like there were
Well,
dogs
you you
out
want you
there.
want you want
Steve
you want me you want
You
me to
know what
say
I'm
Francis.
Brian
saying?
Russell? Do you want me to say Brian Russell?
No, we don't. No, we don't want you to say that.
No,
Oh,
You know
no.
what I'm
Why
saying?
would we say no?
Could
I
you
said
put
But you got to
dogs.
Ginobili in
remember.
there? Could you
But you
put
got.
Ginobili in there?
But you could.
Ginobili
You
wasn't
could.
drafted yet.
But you could. But you could also. But I think we're talking about over the course of their whole career though, because like because if you are, then you got to add D Wade to that conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now
You
that's
know,
totally
like
different. If
there's
you talking about the course of your career, I just thought we were talking about the actual Showbe, the actual Kobe Shaq era. That's what I thought we were talking about.
no. He was just saying that over the course of their career, like at their position,
Who had the
who
toughest
had the
comp?
stiffest comp. Yeah, and
Oh well,
I think it's
shit.
Kobe. I think it's Kobe pretty
It's
easily
easily Kobe. It's easily Kobe. It's not even close.
because even if you look at Jordan, dudes like Joe Dumars, who we brought up, Jordan's like he's got like 3 inches pause and like 25 pounds on him. You know what I
Well, not
mean?
even
So
that, but like Joe Dumars isn't. He's not any. He's not even.
So like if
He's
if
not.
so
if
He's
so
not
you
in
so
that
wasn't
LeBron
league. You know
didn't
what I'm
have
saying?
to
Joe
run
Dumars not
into
giving you 40
wasn't
points
the
off
shooting
rip.
guard position at the time like it was like during the Shaq and Kobe era, you only had a few shooting guards rather than it would be like you had your power forwards, you got your point guards. Like wasn't other positions more deep as far as competition was?
yes,
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
But
but
the
Braun
big
wasn't
dogs
in
were
the
the big
league then.
dogs. You still had a
But
Reggie
Braun was
Miller. You still had like, come on, man.
Yeah, but Braun wasn't in the league then because, and even then, as we look through LeBron's career too,
DeMar
because I
DeRozan,
feel like for LeBron,
Klay Thompson.
yeah, you can't
So
use
a shooting
Clay for
guard, yeah,
LeBron,
Come on, bro.
yeah, you
but
Bro, he's
can't.
a three.
you
You
can't
can use
use
Clay.
Clay for Clay was a two in
Bro,
Golden
he's a
State.
wing,
Let's
bro.
be
He's a
honest. Let's
wing,
be honest.
bro.
Let's be honest.
He's
He's a
no,
wing,
he's a
but
wing.
let's be
He's a wing
honest. Clay
now because he's
Thompson,
old.
Clay Thompson's getting cooked by LeBron, bro. You got to stop
Clay,
that.
bro. The Warriors had, when they won their first championship, it was Steph, Clay,
And
Iguodala, or
Iguodala's definitely
Harrison
a guard,
Barnes.
bro.
Like
And Harrison Barnes is definitely a wing.
Iguodala was the
Iguodala's a
one guarding.
wing.
He was the one guarding LeBron.
I'm
But
just saying.
Iggy
Iggy was
was
a
in even with Iggy was
Iggy
in
was there,
Philly,
but
he was a
yeah, when
wing,
he was
bro.
in
He's a
Philly,
three.
they had AI running the point and Iggy running the two.
Come on, bro.
Nah,
But
bro.
he's
But
technically
see,
a three.
like no, with LeBron, you know what I'm saying, it's a little tougher. You know what I'm saying?
Giannis.
Because Bron didn't. No, he didn't. Bron didn't really have a position
He
though.
came in as a
Like
small forward.
he
He's
was.
been a small forward.
No, he came in as a small forward, but he was running point.
He was
You know what I
running
mean?
point. And then in,
You know.
in Miami, he did everything. He was a power forward. He was a like
Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. So
Give me
I
like what?
hate Bron, but I'm
buckets.
not gonna take away
So
the credit that he deserves. Like
yeah.
Bron was doing
So it
everything.
depends on. So I guess so okay. How about this? Like
If we just
if
keep
we're
it strictly wings and guards, then it's an easier conversation than to say,
yeah, that's what I was
I
going to
never
say.
specified
Like
that the
because
player
at
that
the end of the
they
day,
guarded. I was saying that the player at their position or their role on the floor.
right, but you're trying to interchange people into their positions that aren't their positions.
So LeBron,
Like Kobe,
at the end of the day, Kobe had the harder
Kobe spent more time guarding Klay Thompson than LeBron did.
Because Kobe is your peer, is your natural shooting guard. Kobe is a shooting guard. When we pull up his and he came in, he's a shooting guard. But he could play the three, and he could be a one.
Yeah, he played
But
the
But
he
three
his
in
main
in
position is a two.
2016.
but he didn't play the three. But he didn't play the three until he got old though.
He played the three in oldness, and then
that's the
he was a
thing.
point
So
guard for what
yeah,
oh
just like okay.
five.
So like, what would you consider James Harden?
A two.
definitely a two.
I consider him a two, even though he
Mm-hmm.
played the
He
one,
played
which is
point. He
That's what
weird.
I'm
played point in
saying. Like, you know what
Philadelphia
I'm
though,
saying?
but he carries the ball up
He
the court
played
No,
though.
he
point
played
now
in
on the
Houston.
he played point on the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing, right? Because when they would match up, a lot of times it was Kobe against Harden.
Yep.
My dog,
So
B
that's what I'm
Bow.
saying. So if we're gonna do that for so if we're gonna do that for LeBron, we got to do it for everybody. Because I mean, how many times have you actually seen LeBron guarding Giannis for a significant period of time?
Never.
You know what I'm saying?
So
So,
are you
but
trying to?
what position do you consider?
My bad, but
What position do you consider Giannis to be?
are you trying to break the? He's a
I
4 or
consider
5.
Giannis to be
He's
a
a
power
4 or
forward.
5. I take any, but he guards multiple levels though.
But he's a four, so that's what I'm gonna leave him as. When I think about his competition, I'm looking at other fours. I'm not
Right.
looking at
So
whatever
so so
special
so to
assignments
Cups's
he may have
point,
got.
right? So to Cups's point, when I think of Giannis, I don't think LeBron. I think Anthony Davis.
Could you
Correct.
put Giannis in the center? Would you put Giannis in the center, or would you just keep him at the four?
No,
No, because he always had a center. Like he had Brooke Lopez
And
forever.
Bobby Porter. Shout out to BP.
But see, I
I
consider
don't think
Bobby Porter
Giannis is
the
a
four.
good center, so I wouldn't put him there.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like it just depends on. We got to define on because Kobe is clearly a two guard. Jordan is clearly a two guard.
Is
You know what I'm
LeBron
saying?
clearly
LeBron
is
just
LeBron is
kind
LeBron
of.
clearly,
clearly a
to
small
me,
forward?
LeBron is
Is
clearly a
LeBron
wing.
clearly a
I
He's
think
clearly a wing.
I yes, to me, LeBron is clearly a wing. But then now, as he's gotten older, you know what I'm saying, he's playing a lot more four.
Facilitate. Well, I just feel like bro just facilitate a lot. You know what I'm saying? Bring it up, set the play up, pass it off, and then you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like SGA, right? SGA is a two. But when you watch the Thunder, you would think he was the point.
Would you say like maybe like 5 years from now, Ant could switch to the three? He'll transition to the three from the two.
What?
If he gains some weight.
Anthony Edwards is basically
Anthony
a
Edwards
shooting
is
guard
a
in a point
bona
guard's body.
fide two. Like there is nothing else that he will be able to do on the floor except for be your shooting guard.
Nah, he's a point guard sometimes. He's a point guard at height for sure. Because I mean, they say he's 6'6", but he's really 6'4". You can sell on the
Yeah,
floor. He's small.
well, that's Minnesota's problem. He's a point guard because they got a fucking double AR or double RP, whatever it's called, dude as the point guard. They like Mike Conley orders off the fucking
Hell yeah, he do got his AARP
55 and
card.
older.
Hell yeah.
He is pretty
Yeah, you know what
old.
I'm saying?
He is
So
pretty
Ant
old.
plays point sometimes out of necessity, not because he is or he's good at it. They just need him to.
Shout out
Because
to
he's
Rob
the only
Dillingham.
because he's the only one that they play that can really create his own shot so he can create for others.
So
I would
basically what
say
you're saying is you don't want to add Klay Thompson because you don't feel like he was a wing. So I mean, DeMar DeRozan played 2 and 3. Jimmy Butler
Lamar,
played 3 and 4.
but he's really a two
to me,
though.
DeMar DeRozan's
Jimmy
to
Butler's a
me,
three.
DeMar DeRozan's a 3, and Jimmy Butler's a 3.
Yeah, I put DeMar as a two, but
Would you
whatever. He
keep
could be a
Paul
three.
George as a
But
3,
either
or
way,
would you
like that's
move
why I
Paul George
said
to a
it
2?
doesn't matter. We can do twos
Paul
and wings
George to me,
interchangeably. Who cares?
Paul George to me is a 3 that played 2 later in his career.
And then we got Kawhi Leonard.
hmm
Always a 3.
He's a three,
Come on, bro.
always.
This and Carmelo. I just named
I
some
just
killers right there.
Carmelo's a 3. I don't think that you can count. The reason I don't think you can count Klay Thompson is because there was always a 3 on the floor with them. Like there was always a Harrison Barnes or an Iguodala, you know, a Kuminga.
That and the fact that Klay Thompson is only
Yeah,
Like
6'5".
like
with Dame is a 1, but
He's
he
small.
can definitely be a 2.
yeah, like Dame is a 1 that's too good to be a 2.
Yeah. I never seen Dame as a high dime guy, even though he is like a 7 or 8 assist guy.
Yeah, like dudes like Kyrie, they're 2s in a 1's body.
Right.
But I would consider him a 1, obviously.
So you don't think Uncle Drew is a bona fide 1?
No,
No.
because
He's just different.
You can see it in his passion, the way he
yeah,
plays. He
like
wants
He's
to
to
just
do
Cups's
different.
point, if you get 5 assists out of Kyrie, it's a good night. You know what I mean? And you also got to remember he played next to LeBron and Luka. So he spent the majority of his career off ball for the most part because they're so ball dominant.
So you consider Luka a bona
about to
fide
say
1
that's the
more
thing
than
about
he is
LeBron and
because
Luka.
Luka can be a
Yes,
1, 2, and 3
I
based
would
off of
consider
just
Luka. I would consider Luka a 1 in a 3's body.
Yeah.
That's good.
Sort of like
Respectful.
Harden.
Yeah, I
Sort of
like
like
that.
Harden.
Because Harden do got that height on him.
Yeah, I just don't like Harden 6'4".
He's not 6'6"?
No, Nick Harden is small.
Hmm.
Oh,
Could have fooled me.
6'4", 6'4" is small.
Word.
Like you made Harden sound like he Kyrie or something.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, think about it though. I mean, Steph Curry's 6'3", you know what I'm saying? And he's small. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny.
I
Like,
don't believe Steph
Man,
is
who else?
6'3". And they
we
say
think he
Jamal
like
Murray.
6.
They say
I do.
Jamal Murray 6'4", and I don't believe that either.
I think Steph is honestly like
So do
6'1",
y'all
See,
believe
6'2".
KD not 7 foot? Because they say KD try to act like he not really 7 foot.
So from
KD is 7 foot.
what I hear people say, they say that Kevin Durant will tell people he's 6'9", 6'10", but then when you put him next to a bona fide 7-footer, he's at level or tall.
They're
Yeah,
right there. Right. Him and Anthony Davis are neck and neck. Actually, he's taller than Anthony
yeah,
Davis, but you know, like,
yeah.
So, all right.
but
Just to solidify the list, 5 guys for LeBron, Jimmy Buckets, Kawhi, DeRozan, Paul George,
I'm not even
Melo.
comfortable. I'm not even comfortable with DeMar DeRozan, but okay.
So
I'm not
would
comfortable
y'all
with
would
DeMar
y'all would
DeRozan,
y'all
but it
trade
works.
DeMar DeRozan
It
for Paul
works.
Pierce? For
No,
LeBron?
I mean, I'm sorry.
No, because Paul Pierce is
I would take
old.
Paul Pierce over DeRozan if that's what you're asking.
No, he's asking for the defense of the
Oh,
LeBron.
I would put Paul Pierce. I would
Or I
put
say
Paul
no.
Pierce over DeRozan in that conversation.
In that for the whole career though, Paul Pierce retired
Well,
in
well,
like
you got
20.
you got to remember though, right? Like LeBron, we used to call him. A lot of people called him LeBronto, right? Because You know what I'm saying? He used to dominate the Raptors
He ran through. Ah,
Yeah,
in that way. Paul Pierce led for years.
I mean they were in the East. They were.
that's a fact.
That's why I said that, because it was
So who was
like,
the
you know what
wing
I'm
for
saying,
the
he had to get
Nets? Who
past
was
the
the
Celtics. It was always trying to get past the Celtics at one point for LeBron. You know what I'm saying?
who was the wing for the Nets? Who was the wing for the Magic? The wing for the Pacers was Paul George.
For the
The Magic was Turkaloo and Vince Carter.
Well, it depends on how you want to look at it. It could
Yeah.
be
Oh, okay,
it
Rajon
could or it
Butler.
could it could be Petrus or um Rashard Lewis too.
Oh, that's what I meant. I don't know why I said Butler. I meant Rashard
And
Lewis.
then who was the other team you said? The
Yeah.
Nets. Um,
The
for the
Nets.
Nets, I have no idea.
Right. And all right, so that fifth guy,
Wait,
I
who's the
got
net? I mean, who played on that team?
I guess I could give y'all Paul Pierce for that fifth guy because
Was it Joe
they was
Johnson?
battling.
Is it ISO Joe? ISO
Hmm.
Joe?
See, I always thought of him as
Mm,
see,
mm,
I
mm,
always thought
mm,
of him
mm.
as a two, but I guess you could because you could interchange him and Kyle Korver. I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so
Josh Smith.
I give y'all Paul Pierce. I give y'all Paul Pierce. So Melo, Paul Pierce, um, Melo, Paul Pierce, Paul
KD
George,
and Kawhi.
KD, and Kawhi. Okay, so I take that. KD, Kawhi, Paul George, Paul Pierce, and Carmelo Anthony. Okay, how
Yes.
about Kobe? Tracy
I would,
McGrady, Allen Iverson,
Vince Carter,
Vince Carter,
Ray Allen,
Ray Allen.
and
Ginobili.
Maybe I
you
say
could
Ginobili.
either.
You
No,
could. I mean, you
I
could
ain't
was
gonna
put him
lie.
there.
I
You
might
could say
say
Ginobili,
Harden,
but
but it just depends on how we want to count Harden. Or
And
Dwayne
Can we
Wade,
LeBron.
Dwayne
say
Wade, Dwayne
can we
Wade,
say
Dwayne Wade,
MJ?
Wait,
Can we
wait,
say
wait,
MJ?
Dwayne
wait,
Wade,
wait.
Dwayne
yeah,
Wade,
do
Dwayne
Wade, do
Wade.
Wade.
Since you said Paul Pierce, can we say MJ?
We
No, you
could,
put.
No,
but MJ was at the end right there. Like,
I don't want to say MJ because yeah, it's the tail. It's 96 to 2000. It's actually 96 to
well, hold
98,
on,
and then it's just 2003,
wait,
2004.
wait, 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 wait. At first, when you first said it, I was like, hold up, Jordan was on them last legs. But now that we framing it like 96, 97, that was a back-to-back
He
champion
won a
we talking
championship.
about. Yeah,
Yep.
so I guess we can count that.
Was number
So you
8
got what?
Afro
Jordan?
Kobe when those championships happened?
Yes. What?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. That was Kobe that was shooting the air balls against the Jazz.
Is it? Because it's also the Kobe that gave Jordan 35.
That's true.
Like just because Dale
That's
Harris
Because
is an
true.
asshole
those
doesn't mean
years
that Kobe
we
wasn't
put
Kobe.
Paul Pierce and LeBron, they were both in like the prime, like low key middle to mid end of their middle of LeBron's career, middle to end of Paul Pierce's prime with the Celtics.
I say Paul Pierce's prime with the Celtics was what, 06 to what, 09?
They still went to the finals in
No, I say
2010,
Paul
and
Pierce.
then they were gone. I think next year or the year
No,
after that.
I think Paul Pierce's prime was from like '02
Maybe
to '08.
04?
Yeah, but I mean he
Oh,
was a
okay.
dog before Ray Allen
Okay,
and them got
Because
there.
they made they made the Eastern Conference Finals in '02.
So
Him and
is
Antoine
Okay.
Paul
Walker.
Pierce
Okay.
more underrated?
So Paul Pierce is out. So our Paul Pierce is definitely better than T Mac. So I'm glad we got it out the way. Um,
So we said Tracy
thanks
McGrady,
2-5 for walking right into that one. I love that.
Allen Iverson, um, damn, Vince
Ray
Carter,
Allen,
Ray
Vince
Allen.
Carter,
Trade Vince
Ray
Carter out.
Allen.
Trade Vince Carter
Dwayne
out for
Wade.
Dwayne Wade. If you're gonna put MJ in there.
But that's what I'm trying to figure out. Are we really gonna
I don't
put
want to put
MJ
MJ
in
in
that
there.
Joe? I don't know how I feel about that Joe because I wouldn't put Kobe.
No, I don't
I
want
wouldn't put
to.
Kobe on MJ's list.
See, I think that's something we would have to take a poll on.
I think MJ would just have to be an honorable mention. It's not worth to
Yeah,
say it's
yeah,
his career because Kobe was like no, Kobe didn't become the
yeah.
guy
Because
that we like
he guarded.
until '03. Like the actual Kobe that everybody remembers in their head, you don't think about him until '03.
right, and that's what I'm
Real
saying.
fans can tell you like he's doing this and that and doing that from 96 on, but you don't think about Kobe Bryant until '03. That's really when it's like,
right,
oh, that
right,
guy.
right. I could
I
agree
feel
with
you.
that.
Ray Allen, Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson, um, Vince Carter,
Dwayne Wade.
I feel you, bro. Dwayne Wade. I mean, they were, you know what I'm saying, champions in
Yeah,
'06.
D
bro.
Wade for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
D Wade for sure,
D Wade for
bro.
sure.
D Wade was a problem day one. Day one he walked into that arena, he was a problem. So you got to give D Wade his
We
love,
first, all right. So first,
even though he can't
I
raise a
think
boy.
to refine this, just like we was talking about LeBron, just like I was asking about, like a lot of those players were players that he battled in the playoffs. George, Pierce, you know what I'm saying? Who was the people out in the West that he was battling with? Well, we already know for sure Allen Iverson and Tracy McGrady is for sure on that list. But who else was in the West that he was battling?
Not in the
In the
West.
yeah.
Not in the West
In the
because
West,
T
it would have
Mac
just
T Mac was
in the
East.
West it would have only been Ginobili.
So yeah, all right. So yeah, we got
Yeah.
to expand it to the whole league.
Well, you could say Ginobili. Well, this is the thing. So you gotta think. Are we like if you're thinking about defense? There's a lot of people that Kobe had to go against. There's not a lot of offensive players that we had to think about when it just came to just defending Kobe. Most of the time, like if you look at the Phoenix Suns,
Sean Marion,
he's being defended, but
Rodney
it's not like somebody
Stevenson.
that's a juggernaut on offense. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the Pistons, it's I mean, we can I mean, I don't know. The Pistons, Rip Hamilton is kind of
Rip.
nice. So
He is, but he ain't on that level.
he's not a scorer, but I'm saying defensive wise.
Yeah,
Because that's the thing that people forget about this era. Is like people are not defensive juggernauts. It doesn't matter what you want to pretend. People don't play defense for real no more. Back then, it was more you played defense, and then if you were gifted on offense, then that was your secondary power. But really, you were a defense person first because the goal was to stop the other team from scoring. And then if you were an
right,
offensive juggernaut, then okay, cool. Like you know who the Kobe's and Jordans and Vince Carters are, but at the same time, they all still would lock you up.
Pick one season
right.
between 2003 and 2007. Any random season.
'06.
'06. In 2000, in 2005, 2006, Kobe averaged 35. The reason why I'm
35.
asking this is because
That's why he chose that year. That's why I shook my head as soon as he said that year.
I'm about to look up. I'm about to look up the
35 point.
Ah,
I believe it was
it's
35.4 to be exact.
35.4.
I knew what you were doing, trying to cook the books.
all right.
Hey, he said pick a year.
So that year Kobe won the scoring
he
title.
also he also was on
He was
all
listed as a
and he was
But
on
oh
all
06 is also the hold up. But oh 06 is also the year that LeBron had that game against the Pistons in the playoffs.
hmm where he finally woke up and showed everybody I can do these things
Yeah.
too. hmm But the thing about Kobe is he led the league in scoring and he was also first team all defense.
so when
He
Kobe
was.
led the league,
That's why I love that season so
when
much.
Kobe led the league in scoring, the guards that led the league after him as far as shooting guards was Dwayne Wade, then it was Michael Redd, then Ray Allen, then Vince Carter, Jason Richardson, and Joe Johnson was number 7.
Jason
To fill it
Richardson.
out to number 10,
Hey, yo,
Rip Hamilton was number 8, Ricky Davis was number 9, and Morris Peterson was number 10 as far as shooting guards.
bro, do you see the names that you're
For sure.
saying? Like Kobe's era is easily the hardest. It's not even close. We talking about Michael Redd. People don't even know who that is. There's somebody watching
We
this
still
right now. It's
remember
like,
Jason
who?
Richardson though.
Come on, dog. Jason Richardson, another one,
Nah,
a
only
bucket.
only reason people remember Jason Richardson is because his son got drafted a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's not true.
No, we still leaving people like
I
Jimmy
remember.
Butler
I ain't
off
gonna
of
lie, 2-5. I
LeBron's
remember
list.
Jason
Bro,
Richardson because
I've been doing
he
the
carried the dunk
I've been
contest
doing the
after
hot
Vince Carter
box for
stopped.
about I've been doing the hot box for almost a year and a half, I'm guessing. I ain't never heard nobody say the name Jason Richardson until just now.
Yeah, I've never heard
I
y'all
mean,
say
bro,
it.
'cause
That's for sure.
we leaving names like Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum off the LeBron list. Like,
Jason
Because
Tatum
Jimmy
doesn't
Butler
count.
don't
how does he
count.
not
Jimmy
count?
Butler doesn't count. Well, Jimmy Butler counts because they went into a title reign. They
Jimmy
went into a
because I
title
think
defense.
I think that if we put our minds to it, we could come up with better names than
But
Jimmy Butler.
I'm saying
That's
though,
true.
that's the thing.
And Jason Tatum
Like,
doesn't
hold on,
get
hold
it.
on, hold
That's
on.
the
Time
thing.
out.
That's the
All right,
floor
all
as
right. Think
Jimmy
about it
Butler,
like
and we
this.
talk about the floor being Jason Richardson.
All right. No, think about it like this. Think about it like this. Um, you got
I'm gonna just put this
Jimmy
out there.
Butler.
Jason Richardson is a better player than Jimmy Butler.
Wow.
That's
Jim,
tough. That's
look.
tough.
So you got Jimmy. You got Jimmy.
I
Jay,
don't care.
that's tough, bro. And I fuck with Jason Richardson, but that's tough.
So check it out. Check it out. Check it out. You got Jimmy Butler. You got Jimmy Butler. You got Kawhi. You got KD. One of these is not like the other.
7 foot.
No.
No, Jimmy
Two of
Butler's
them,
not at that level.
right? Two of them are champions. Two of them are champion MVPs. Two of them are league
The
leaders.
only
Two
thing
of
that
them,
KD
Like
got
one of them is a
over
defensive
Jimmy
player of the
Butler
year.
is an MVP.
What
That
about
is
scoring
absolutely
titles?
unequivocally untrue.
What about scoring titles? What about actually leading your team, being the
So
leader?
he
Hey,
didn't.
Jimmy
Jimmy
did
Butler
that
didn't
in
lead his
Miami,
team.
No,
bro. Stop acting like Jimmy ain't do
no,
All
that. Hey, he
NBAs.
no,
did
no.
All
that in the
NBAs.
You know who? Hold on, I got you, Cups. I got you. You ready to get pissed off? You know what Jimmy Butler is? He's Eli without the rings. Like all he does, like he'll
So
show
he's
up
a
in the
fringe Hall of
playoffs. He'll show
Famer.
up in the
Is like
playoffs.
what?
He'll, I mean, yeah,
Eli without the rings is not a Hall of Famer.
if you're reducing everything to solely the playoffs, yes. But if we're talking about the coverage of 82 games, Jimmy Butler takes way too many games off, and I'm not talking about load management.
And I feel you
Like
though.
Jimmy Butler literally passes. So you can't. So I can't count him in that conversation against people that are
But no,
doing it every
and I
night.
Do
feel
we
you, and
count?
I'm not
Do
saying
we
to.
count how long it took for you to actually get good too? Because Jimmy Butler on the Chicago Bulls wasn't good until like year
But I'm
3.
also saying though, and I feel your point, Jack. That's what we was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Should Michael be on Kobe's list? But I'm saying though, the whole thing about it is I wasn't making the case for Jimmy Butler to be on that list. I was saying in response to Jack saying that Kobe's era was definitely harder. I'm saying though that Jimmy Butler is the floor of what we talking about, as opposed to Rip Hamilton's and Jason Richardson's being the floor of what we talk about in Kobe's
Yeah,
conversation, being the honorable mentions.
yeah, that's what I said. Kobe's
I think
conversation
Rip
is
Hamilton is better.
he is.
I think Rip Hamilton is better than
Rip
Jimmy
Hamilton
Butler.
is literally what we think Jimmy Butler is. Like literally, that's what we think Jimmy Butler is. It's not
Okay,
even
so time out,
close.
right? I don't want to do that hyperbolic thing, right? But
You
just for
got
conversation, just for conversation.
well, you got two defensive juggernauts who can score when you need them
I
to.
don't want to be how
But Rip got a
I
championship
don't
out of
want to be
his.
hyperbolic, but let's be hyperbolic for a quick second. If you take away Jimmy Butler, those two finals runs, what would you think of Jimmy Butler?
A journeyman that played defense.
Okay, if I
For
took the
sure.
finals and all that, if I took the finals and all that stuff away from KD, what would you think?
Just a nigga who can score.
He's still one of the
Just a
greatest
Yeah,
nigga,
he's
scorers
a
just a
of all
bucket.
nigga who
time.
can't. Just a nigga
He's
who
yeah,
score, rather than a nigga scoring actually means something.
he did he was. I felt
That's
like
crazy.
he was a
He
more
always
impactful
goes to the
Carmelo.
playoffs.
He was a more impactful Melo with an
But
MVP.
is it? But is a more? But is a?
Which
But
means that
is that better than what you thought of Jimmy Butler as? Like
of course it
now,
is.
okay, it is, yes, but also think about the levels in between those statements of what we said about KD without the titles and stuff, and what we said about Jimmy Butler. You know, like think about the levels in between the statements that we said about them.
But like you said with Eli, I mean the
Well, I'm saying
story
it
is what
because
makes Jimmy Butler an honorable mention in these things. Rip Hamilton was a member of a great Pistons team, and I'm not gonna say a flash in the pan, but he was a member of a great Pistons core that did what a lot of people didn't, and that's what puts him in the. That's what makes him in the conversation that y'all trying to put him in. And I'm not saying he don't belong
Rip
there,
Hamilton was
but
also on a very good playoff team with Michael Jordan, who's quote unquote old and dusted, that everybody just happens to forget about.
All right, so I got to fact check that. Wizards didn't make the playoffs.
They didn't?
Nope, Jordan didn't make the playoffs either year that he was in Washington.
Okay. So but they didn't make the playoffs simply because of an injury. They were only a couple of games
That's
off.
true. That's true. But no, the thing with the thing with Rip Hamilton, and I'm not talking about level of player. So before I say what I'm about to say, remember that disclaimer. You know what I'm saying? Rip Hamilton is like the guard version of Tim Duncan. You know what I mean? Like he don't do nothing flashy. He don't stand out in the way that
Mr.
jumps off the
Fundamentals.
screen. Yeah, so I think that's why people don't think about Rip Hamilton in that way.
All right, so this is the same year that Kobe averaged 35. When we go to small forwards, it don't say it just gives me total points. I can't find averages. But LeBron was first, Melo was second, Pierce was third, Antoine Jameson fourth, Rashard Lewis, Richard Jefferson, Wally Zerbiak, Karan Butler, Peja Stojakovic, and Hedo Turkoglu. And
That's
then
a
T
lot
Mac
worse.
was
Well, shit, Karan
and
Butler and
Tayshaun
Keo
Prince.
Turkoglu on there. That's a little honorable mention for them niggas.
That's I don't know.
I
I
said
think Kobe's
Turkoglu
list is
earlier.
still better. I still think Kobe's list
Kobe's
is
list is
better
100% better, bro. It's
because
100%
like we're talking about fringe players and stuff. So like if you look at Kobe's list, the names that you gave cuts to me at least, like Mo Pete is the one name on that list where it was kind of iffy. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm looking at LeBron's list, I'm like Turkoglu was good, but was Turkoglu ever considered like that guy or great or dominant or any of those things? And
Yeah,
then
but
when I look,
you can also go back to Kobe's list and you could add a Ron Artest, you can add a Shane Battier, you could add, you know what I mean? Like you could do
Well,
that.
I mean, well, shit
We're
for
not.
the
You
small
could add
forwards
a
in the
Bruce
same
Bowen.
year.
Could you add a Grant Hill?
For small forwards in the same year, like I said, we got Tayshaun Prince, T Mac, Luau Deng, Carincolo, Iguodala, Meta World Peace, Kyle Korver, Josh
this
Smith, Gerald Wallace.
this
You're,
man
hey, I
said
ain't gonna lie,
Carinc.
Cups.
He said
I ain't,
Carincolo.
I
I
meant
ain't
to
gonna
say
lie, Cups.
Karolinko. I meant
It's
to say
not, it's not,
Karolinko.
it's not close, bro. It's not close. Like, it's not close.
And again, like I said, we still haven't said people like Jason Tatum.
That doesn't
Uh,
count. He's a baby compared to Bron.
they were
He
still
was,
battling those.
but he
Bro,
was a
he came
baby
in
though.
hot.
He was a baby though. He was still young. Like he was ball
Ah,
chase. He was
but
ball
he,
chasing
but
before he.
they were also making the Eastern Conference Finals damn near every year.
True.
every
That is
year,
true.
gang, they was
Okay,
battling that jump.
That's true.
but if Bron is still on that Cleveland team, do you really think that he's losing to those Celtics teams?
Yes.
All right, how about this? How about this? Second generation Braun. Name a year between 2015 and no 2012. Name a year between 2012 and Kobe still. Yeah, no, yeah, 2012 and 2017.
Spurs
For
year
Bron,
for Braun when he had to go against the Spurs.
So that was
All right,
20
2013.
2014.
2014, 2014
Well,
Bron is a
13 is
god
when.
on a basketball court.
So hold on. So hold on. Let's get this right. So 12 is when they won. 13 is when they lost to the Spurs. No. 12 they beat OKC. 13 they beat
Hmm.
the Spurs.
13, they
14 they lost to the Spurs.
right. But
And then he went.
still, well, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he
625,
went
you're
to
doing it a
Cleveland.
different way than I do. I use the championship year. I don't use the actual start of the year. So when I'm saying 2014, I'm actually talking about the 2013 season
Okay.
because
Okay.
I
Well, yeah,
I
because
do my
2012,
seasons well when you end
2013,
it.
LeBron won MVP. That was his second.
Yeah.
That was his
Yeah.
third year
That
in
was the.
Miami.
Yeah. That was the
That was
year
the
they.
second MVP.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the year they beat the
So
Spurs.
that season he won MVP. He averaged 26. He didn't win the scoring title though. Hold
He
on.
should have won Defensive Player of the Year that year.
Yeah, that's the year that he got robbed. That is the year
That
he
was
got
the year with
robbed.
the block. That was that big block in the joint. That's when I was like, yeah, bro. That's what I'm talking about. That block on Splitter.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Before he
mean,
took your
he
girl
had
and you've
like
been mad at
40
him
of them.
ever since.
He had like
Mhm.
40 of them blocks.
Yep.
He did that shit like every game damn near. It was crazy.
Miami Braun, the best Braun, bro.
All right,
2014
so
LeBron James is a god on the court. And I don't even like
that
LeBron.
season, Melo won the scoring title. KD averaged 28. Kobe averaged 27. Braun averaged 26. Harden averaged 25. Westbrook averaged 23. Curry averaged 22. Kyrie averaged 22. Wade Aldridge 21. Tony Parker
All
20.
right, there's my whistle.
So
Penalty on the play. Penalty on the play. Because when we were talking about Kobe and who else was it? I can't even remember. Oh, I think we just did Kobe. When we were talking about Kobe, we just did two guards. With LeBron, you trying to include the whole league.
no, because I'm saying though, I'm not trying to include the whole league. I was making a point that once, bro, all these players right here, you're not even getting to wings yet. Is the point I was trying to make. So hold on.
But then we got to go back and do that for Kobe too.
No, I got you. You're right. You're right. You're right. I got you. So
We is fried in the box today. We is fried.
this year, LeBron was registered as a four.
Yeah, but we don't count that. He played it, but he's still 3.
Wasn't Chris Bosh the 4?
Yeah, Bosh was the 4.
That's why I said that don't count.
I thought they said they moved him to the 5.
No, he was.
No, Joel Anthony was the 5.
Yeah, and then they'll have Birdman rotating every now and then because Haslam used to come in for Bosh.
See, trying to cook the books. Cups was about to be like, I'm adding Dirk, I'm adding Tim Duncan.
Oh no. No, I probably would have.
See, that when you say Tim Duncan, that's what pissed me off about Tracy McGrady and that bullshit he said with Shaq, talking about if you take fucking Tim Duncan off the Spurs, they don't win. They don't even they just get to the playoffs, but they don't win shit. Tim Duncan he don't really matter for us much. They still make it to the playoffs. They still a good team.
No, if you take Tim Duncan off that team, they win 28 games.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm trying to find
like we would talk about if you take Tim Duncan off that team, you would talk about them the way we talk about the Hornets.
For sure.
Except for Cups wouldn't give Tony Parker the grace that he gives LaMelo, though.
Oh my gosh. I don't be getting it.
Who's better, bro? Lonzo.
I'm trying to organize the roles.
Cups be like, what you want LaMelo to do? There was a tornado 2 weeks ago, and he's still affected.
No, for real, bro. I mean, the nigga can't practice, bro. What you want from the nigga, man?
That nigga go practice somewhere, bro. You get on the plane, go somewhere, go practice, bro.
Oh, I want to dance with somebody.
Nah, but
all right, hold on. I'm gonna do it on this one.
That's why some of these conversations be funny though. Like Cups was literally trying to cook the books in real time in 4K and everything.
They are funny. They are funny conversations for sure.
Well, that's why I wanted to do the Chat GPT thing, but I don't want to have the argument anymore.
It just depends on who. It depends on who's in the Chat GPT.
Wait, what was the argument?
All right, here we go. Can y'all hear me?
First
2-5. That quarterback argument that you jumped into yesterday.
Oh, about Aaron Rodgers.
Y'all steady go through that,
bro. There's no Chat GPT or nothing that you could ever get to convince me that I'm wrong.
No, were you here?
You didn't understand.
No, were you here that day when we did the Chat GPT?
Yeah, and he tried to do it with Drew Brees and got hurt. Even in a Drew Brees argument, they was giving Aaron Rodgers love.
I didn't get hurt. I didn't get hurt.
You're not gonna. You hurt.
Yes, you did. Your ass froze.
Hell no. Hell no.
You turned into the turkey on the Monday before Thanksgiving.
Would you rather be Steve Young or Aaron Rodgers?
It's okay, cuz we still love you, man.
Would I rather what?
Would you rather be Steve Young or Aaron Rodgers?
I'd rather be Steve Young.
What kind of question is that? I don't give a fuck about ring culture. I want to be a champion. That whole conversation is stupid.
LeBron's third year in Miami, 2012, 2013. The leading scorers for the small forwards was 24-year-old Kevin Durant, 35-year-old Paul Pierce, Rudy Gay, Paul George, Aaron Offlalo, Luau
A
Dang,
A
follow,
follow,
follow.
a follow, a follow.
Afalo, Luau Dang, Gallinari, Chandler Parsons, Nick Batum, Gordon Hayward, Vince Carter, Evan Turner,
Yeah, that shit don't sound as good. Do it.
Metal World
They got a
Peace,
nice
Corey
little. They got
Brewer,
a couple names on there though.
Kirilenko, Kawhi Leonard,
That shit don't. That shit don't sound as good. Do it.
CJ Miles,
Kawhi wasn't Kawhi yet.
Yeah, he was still a pup.
Tobias Harris.
Oh, you know, that list is invalidated. You done. Don't be talking about. Don't be talking about Toby.
TB over PG
Jared
all
Dudley,
day.
Jared Dudley,
Jared Dudley.
Mike Dunleavy. Shout out
All right, now
Dunleavy.
hold on. Time out. Pause for a second. Didn't you say Carmelo was the leading scorer that season?
Melo.
Yeah, but I think he was a 4.
That doesn't count. He's still a 3, bro. We gotta
I'm
stop
trying to
that.
figure. Yeah, that's what threw me off because you said Durant first. I was like, hold up.
None of them dudes is 4s. They just might play the position every a couple of games out the season, but they're still all 3s. Melo,
I'm trying
Durant,
to think.
all them niggas.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the Knicks roster. That's why I did that. I was like, because I know they had Amari Stoudemire, but he kept getting hurt.
Boy, the bad boy ain't he could have just stayed more healthy.
Yeah,
Same
he
with
was
Greg Oden.
registered as a 4. LeBron was registered as a 4. LaMarcus Aldridge was a 4. So the leading 4s was Melo,
So
LeBron,
not
LaMarcus Aldridge, David Lee, Kevin Love, Blake Griffin, Josh Smith, Dirk Nowitzki, David West, Carlos Boozer, Ryan Anderson, Zach Randolph, Glenn Davis. Come on, gang.
see. Hold up. See what we just did
Glenn
though.
Davis.
You didn't say Kevin Durant that time.
You know
Glenn
what I'm
Davis
saying?
is crazy,
I'm the king
man.
of semantics, Cups. You can't win this game.
Serge Ibaka, Anthony Davis, Paul Gasol, Amari Stoudemire,
Sinners,
Millsap.
center. That was a whole lot of center you just said.
You taking Al Horford or Paul Millsap?
We're not even
Al
answering that.
Horford.
Keep going.
What the fuck?
Give me
Like,
Al. Give me
Keep
Al.
going.
Give me Al.
what goes into your head before you say stuff like that?
What you mean, bro?
Nothing.
These are just names. I have yet to hear Al Horford name be put in any of these lists so far.
Because why would it be?
Look
Why
at the
would it
names
be?
he just read off.
LeBron be guarding Al Horford sometimes. Al Horford definitely be guarding Braun.
But see, but that's
Yeah, whatever it
matchup.
is.
That's matchup. He not guarding every 4. I mean, every. Well, Horford went between the 4 and the 5.
Yeah.
It
But
just depends on
anyway,
what
you know
year
what I'm
you're
saying?
talking about.
When has Al Horford ever been the reason that anybody's won a championship?
Hey, remember that year?
Whoa.
Remember that year that the Hawks had 4 All-Stars and didn't even make the finals?
Come on, bro.
Horford was on that team.
Shout out to Cal
You
Korver.
know what I'm saying? And they lost to LeBron, even though Kevin Love was out for the series.
Remember that year that Al Horford was going crazy on the Celtics and he hit all those big threes in the finals and lost? We don't
I do
care.
remember. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I remember when we
We
lost to the
don't care.
Warriors, but I remember when we won that jump, though. And Al Horford played a part in that jump.
Remember when Al Horford went to Philly and OKC and like was never seen again until he got to Boston?
All right,
It's fun.
bro.
It's funny how people say why we bring up Al Horford, but yep, you guys got a lot of things for Al Horford.
Al
We're
Horford's
giving
a
you
Hall
all
of
the
Famer,
reasons
bro.
why.
Al Horford won back-to-back titles in college, bro.
Oh yeah,
Come
he's a
on, bro.
college Hall of Famer.
Like
I don't
Al
like
Horford
that.
is the
Hey,
only
I'm not.
Al
I'm
Al
not
Al,
shitting on
Al, Hor-
Al. I'm not
Al
shitting on
Horford is the only reason that Billy Donovan still got a job.
Al. I'm not shitting on Al.
So yeah, man. I see 2-5 ready to take for tonight, fellas, for the smoke rally.
I'll let you know.
Live and well.
Already, man. So look, y'all already know, man. This has been Styrofoam Rob Cups and the gang live from the motherfucking hot box. This has been the Thursday lunch rally. You already know I had the gang with me. One half of Sports Reports as ordered. 2-5. Mike Will representing live in the building. You already know I have my dog Bleed Blue for the shoe. Nap Nation J Lethal. What it do? You already know
No
I
white
had the dog.
helmets.
the one and
Terrible.
only,
Bengals
man.
all day.
DJ Radical Jack, DJ Cactus Jack in this motherfucker,
Hey.
man. Shout out to Radical Uso, the use in this motherfucker, man. Look, catch us tonight, man. We rolling the windows down, we letting the smoke out. But above all else,
Fuck
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 Aaron
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 Rodgers.
Rodgers.
Rodgers,
Fuck
fuck
Kevin
Kevin Durant,
Durant. Fuck Rudy Gobert.
And
Tyler
fuck
Perry.
And
fuck
Wilt Bell.
Tyler Perry. Tyler
and fuck
Perry.
Andre and fuck Andre Karolinko for having a name that Cups can't say.
AK-47.
All right, man. Hey, look, we rolling the windows down, man. Smoke with us.